with a single leg. So chair or sofa, start with a single leg squat or the double leg. If you did do that last week, you put your weights in and you can try the double leg. But the option on the single leg is to put your hands down. So you could almost use that instead of the weight option. Try and do 8 on each side, which I know is quite hard anyway. But really work on the knee control here. And think about what's happening with the foot as well. So are we getting that equal weight on the foot, the big toe, little toe, the arch engaging, glute strengthening. So another little thing is if you've got the right angle behind your knee, you're going to have to think about this. And I probably didn't tell you this the other week. So if you have your foot too far away from the chair, this is quite a difficult move. So actually take an angle that's below, less than 90 degrees to get into that position. Otherwise it's very hard to get out, right? Another option you can do is to lift the chair up, if you have lazy squirrels, is to put cushions on your chair so your chair's higher and then the move gets a bit easier. So another option is in there. And then when you want the move to be harder, but be aware of taking the knee too far, you could take it down to a pouffe? Is that how you say it? Or like a block, a low block. But for me, I've always found a chair is enough. I don't need to go any further than that. Well, if you haven't swapped, swap now. And again, you can just use your hands just to give you that little bit of control. If you're coming back from any niggles or any kind of anything like that. So we use our hands, we use, arms a lot to balance. So another way of progressing is crossing your arms. Just brings everything a bit closer, the balance in. Just check you're not holding your breath as well. Ideally we'd be breathing in lift, breathing out, coming down. But if you do it the other way around, don't panic, it's fine. Just don't hold the breath. So, I don't know, how are we getting on? I'm doing about 8 now. I've been talking and stopping and blah, blah, blah. So the next one, we'll go to hip mobility. Stand to the side of the chair. We've been doing this for about a month now, so we're going to stick with it. One last time. Take the foot back, a bit like the deadlift. Turn the foot to the side, bend in the knee. It's that kind of like male dog peeing on a lamppost and going over a stile. How else can we explain it? Then you can put in your chair, so you can come closer and then bring it in. So if you went down to the track and there was hurdlers down there, they would be doing this move, okay? But they would probably be doing it with that side on a hurdle, because that's pretty much how high hurdles are. I'm not recommending that at all. I don't hate it. I can't do it. So just to give you an idea of how it relates and what it relates to, it can be like a hurdle drill, which a lot of runners will take on hurdle drills to strengthen hips and pelvis muscles. So yeah, so you can Google hurdle drills and probably something come up on YouTube, and you can have a little look at them as well, have a little dabble on them. I've often done them on, because I find hurdles too high, I've often done them on a row, when you have a row of bike, rings that you tie your bike to. I've often done hurdle drills using them. Switch sides, and you can create like the same kind of 8 hurdles in a row, but obviously they're a lot lower. And you just got to make sure there isn't a bike in the middle of that. And you might find that one side's a bit more tricky than the other. Again, get closer if you want to put your chair into it. It also works with balance, so it is quite challenging, isn't it? Because we're balancing on one foot and we're kind of turning, rotating in the hips. There's quite a lot going on in this move. maybe like 3 more. Now just check you're still working with the core, we're still pulling in. And shoulders are relaxed. The jaw is relaxed. So a couple of stretches then. We'll go to the hamstring stretch that we did a couple of weeks ago again. So 1 foot on the chair, hip width, square the hips to the chair, which takes a little bit of a time to kind of work that one out. And you want to be in a nice position here. You don't want to be too close to the chair, you don't want to be too far away. And then you can bring the arms up over the head and circle them round and work into that flexion on the foot. Breathing in, lift, and breathing out, circling around. Still need to engage the core with this. So obviously we're almost forwards folding. Now try not to let the hips sink into this move. So think about sending the hips, if they were like headlights on a car, up and forwards. So you'll find a stretch there in the hips as well, especially if you've been a bit tired running and your hips have dropped in your runs because you're a little bit tired, or maybe you need new shoes, just be aware of that pelvis position. You want to get nice and lifted. That's where the power will be. Swap sides. Again, hip width. So feet are facing forwards. Flex the foot, square the hips. Take your time to get into that position. And again, you don't have to use your chair. You can use a block if you're feeling really tight, or like a sofa. I mean, as well, if you've got more flexible in your hamstrings and you have less torque in there, then you'd be looking at something higher. Which then you might, like if you were on a track, you'd see people doing this on a steeplechase barrier, right? Or something like that. So you can just take these moves and put them into kind of your situation. Maybe it's a fence sometimes, or a wall, or whatever. I used to do this stretch actually a little bit on the back of my car. When I had my yellow car, it had like a little lip by the back door, and that was quite good for this stretch. My van's a bit low now, the back. So, the next stretch is for hips and glutes, and sitting on the chair. Just relax your shoulders, relax your back actually, so you need to be nicely relaxed for this. Place your foot across. Now notice what happens with the foot that's on the floor and the knee, is it kind of all tilted and wiggled because you tighten your glutes. So just try and keep it all kind of hip width, like kind of keep an eye on that's going on down there as well. This foot gets flexed, so flexing the ankle. And we're going to press down with the hand, and at the same time the knee pushes up into the hand. So the knee pushes up and you'll find the glute engages, and you'll find the stretch on the hips. And at the same time I'm pushing down with that hand. Try and keep your shoulders relaxed. And then you're just going to count to about 6-8 seconds, something like that. Then just relax for 6-8 seconds, and you'll find your knee drops a little bit and you get a stretch there in your glute. Then we can go again. Push, and I'm really going to work hard into that hand now. So I'm really firing up the glute. I'm really pushing, and I'm really pushing down with my palm. Probably just doesn't really look it, does it? But I'm really working. At the same time, I'm pulling in my core, and I'm trying not to hold the breath. And then just release. You probably won't feel anything right now, but it's after doing this that you'll notice a bit of a difference. Then again, last one. So this is like progressive. We do this with our hamstrings, don't we, in the door frames and things like that. So this one is the one you do with your glutes. Try and relax the muscles in your face. Really pushing into that. Pushing up, pushing down. Pulling in the core. Breathing. And then just release. And then we go to the other side. And you might have one side tighter than the other. No worries, just chop one side off. So So again, keep an eye on the foot on the floor, the knee, hip width, just everything's in line. You want it all in line. Now, if you're a little bit tight, you'll notice the spine feels a bit wiggly as well. So have a little feel of how the whole body goes up towards the shoulders. Then again, 3 times. We'll go into this. So pushing down and then push and lifting up. So those two elements working against each other. Try not to hold the breath and pull in the core. And then just relax. Generally breathing out. Breathe out, relax. And then we go again. So pushing in, and we go back 8 seconds, something like that. Again, pull in the core. Try and keep the shoulders relaxed. Push, push, push. Really, really work these muscles. And then just release. So I was watching a documentary about a photographer in Hawaii, and he always said to people to take a big deep breath in, and then when he would take the picture, he would say breathe out. So next time you're in photos, you just gotta breathe out. Last one, pushing in. 100%. Big deep breath in. We're pulling in the core as well, and then breathing out, just letting go of that stretch. Okay, release. So something you can do if you do work on chairs and things like that, on computers, you can do that one at work. So we'll put the chair away,